Hey YouTube, what's happening? It's the Common Collector here, and today I just wanted to come at you with my Ghostrick deck profile. I got a request for this recently, and I was really excited to do it because this is one of my favorite decks. It's kind of a gimmick deck, but you know, everybody's kind of got one of those mill or burn style kind of decks. So this is my Ghostrick Mill build. If you guys don't know what the Ghostrick Mill style is basically that you're trying to get out Ghostrick Skeleton onto the field with as many Ghostrick monsters as possible in order to mill cards from the top of your opponent's deck and banish them instead of sending them to the graveyard. Anyways, it's just a super fun deck, so let's just get right on into it. So starting off with the profile, I run 3 of the Ghostrick Skeleton. He's definitely a 3-up for the deck. So basically, while he's on your field, if you have to set him first, but then once you flip him, then you get to remove cards from the top of your opponent's deck up to the number of Ghostrick monsters that are face up on your side of the field. And now that with the new link format, since we have an extra monster zone and we can get one of our XZ monsters into the extra monster zone, then that means that we can actually mill six total cards off the top of their deck at once. And you know, it used to be 5 at tops, but now that we get that extra, it's pretty nice. So then basically everything else in the deck just kind of runs around him to either help protect him or the rest of the cards on the field, or to search him out. So our main searcher of the deck is Ghostrick Jiangshi, which I like running 3 of as well. So when she's flipped up to the number of face-up Ghostrick monsters you control, you get to add a Ghostrick monster with the same level. So as long as you have Jiangshi and at least 2 other face-up Ghostricks on the field, then you'll be able to add a level 3, which would be Skeleton for your target. Or the third of the 3s that I run is just one of the Ghostrick Mummy. Now, not a lot of people run Mummy, but I really like him. His effect is that you get an extra normal summon per turn while he's face up on the field. So a nice thing to do is, you know, if you have Jiangshi and 2 other Ghostricks on your side of the field and you have a Skeleton in your hand, then you flip Jiangshi, add your Mummy into your hand, normal summon the Mummy, and then you can normal summon or set your Skeleton that way. Or I believe it would probably have to be a normal summon phase up. But anyways, having the 1 Mummy in there just to get that extra normal summon per turn is really nice, because then you can go into some of your XZ plays and then you know, just spam out more cards onto your field. Next we run 3 of the Ghostrick Doll. Now Doll is your special summoner of the deck. During the end phase of your turn, or during the turn that it's flipped face up, you flip Doll and as many other face up monsters on the field as possible in a face down defense. And then basically what happens is then you get to special summon a Ghostrick monster of an equal or lower level of the number of cards that were flipped face down. And this can really mess up some of your opponent's plays, because it ends up flipping their cards face down as well, and you just get a really powerful special summon off of whatever card from the deck that you want, whether you need your Jiangshi to search or you need your Skeleton to start milling. Next, I just run 2 of the Ghostrick Lantern as sort of the start of the hand traps for the deck. So with Lantern, when your opponent declares a direct attack, or when a Ghostrick monster you control is targeted for an attack, you can negate the attack, and then if you do, special summon this from your hand in face down defense. So basically it's just another way to negate attacks, protect your monsters or your life points, and to get an extra Ghostrick onto the field to go into some of your XZ plays. Next, 2 Specters. Spectre is so Lantern is going to stop your battles, and then Spectre is what helps when your monsters get destroyed. So basically with Spectre, whenever your Ghostrick monster is destroyed by an opponent's card effect or by battle with an attacking monster and sent to the graveyard, then you get to special summon him from the hand and draw a card. And that extra draw is just a really, really nice effect. So I like running at least 2 of him in the deck. And then lastly, for our monsters, 2 Ghostrick Mary. And Mary is another really interesting of the hand traps. Whenever you get battle damage taken to you, then you get to discard this to the graveyard and then special summon any Ghostrick monster from your deck, which is a pretty insane effect. Next, going on into the spells, I run 3 of the Ghostrick Parade field spell. Now, again, not a lot of people really run the Parade, but I really like it because the way that Parade works is that monsters cannot attack face-down defense monsters, but they can attack directly if all monsters that their opponent controls are face-down defense. And then also your opponent takes no damage, but that's not a big deal because we're not trying to do any damage to our opponent. We're just trying to get all the cards off their deck so they deck out. And then also when your opponent's monster declares their direct attack, you get to add any Ghostrick card from your deck to your hand. And this card really plays some serious mind games with your opponent. So if this is in your field spell zone, your opponent really starts debating, are they going to be able to impact you with enough attack in order to make it worth it? Because otherwise they're going to give you a free search for whatever you want in the deck pretty much. And a really interesting interaction that can go on with this is if your opponent attacks while you have Parade, they do direct damage. Then what you search off for your card search, if you grab a Mary to your hand, then what you do is once you take the damage, you discard the Mary, and then you can special summon that skeleton directly from your deck, which is a pretty powerful play. Other than that, if you're gonna end up getting attacked by your opponent by another monster, you can always add one of the others, like Lantern, and then you can kind of protect your life points if need be. But you're not going to be able to negate that initial attack because the attack has already been declared. Next, I run 3 Allure of Darkness just to get some serious draws in. We don't really want to remove from play too many of our monsters, but if we already have like a Jiangshi and or a doll on the field, then you can usually negate or remove from play one of those with the Lure of Darkness. But other than that, you really don't want to be removing from play your hand trap monsters. So then moving on to Swords of Concealing Light, just to flip your opponent's monsters face down, because what happens is that your opponent will really start filling up their board because you're not attacking them or destroying their stuff. And then what happens is they fill up their board, and then if you can use Swords of Concealing Light on them, then that can really help to fill up their board, and then they really can't do too much. Then I run 2 Pot of Duality. This could easily be changed out, these 2 Pot of Dualities, if you feel more comfortable running something like Called by the Grave, just because, Pot of Duality isn't that great of a card. It does stop you from special summoning from the turn, but the good thing is that we really don't special summon that often unless you're really relying on your Ghostrick doll. But if you're setting up your board right, or if this is like your first turn draw, then getting into those Pot of Dualities is kind of nice to search out the cards that you really need, and namely your Ghostrick skeleton. Next, 1 Terraforming, obviously just to get to our field spell. 1 MST. I like MST better than running Twin Twisters in this deck, just because we really don't want to discard any of our cards from the hand, and we're also running the Alluring Mirror Splits, but just a nice card in case you're going up against Mystic Mine or anything, just to pop off those pesky cards. Next, 1 Monster Reborn, just to recover our skeleton if it goes away. Then going on to traps, 3 of the Ghostrick Vanish. Now this card is just crazy as long as it goes off correctly. Basically, if you reveal 1 Ghostrick monster in your hand, then for the rest of this turn, your Ghostrick cards, now note that it says cards, not monsters, your Ghostrick cards that you control and face-down defense monsters that you control can't be targeted by or destroyed by card effects. Basically anything like if your opponent activates Regeki, you flip this, reveal a Ghostrick in your hand, and we run a lot of those hand trap monsters, so we've usually got some Ghostricks in our hand, and then you can stop big moves like a Regeki or whatever, or if your opponent's running a lot of targeting effects, whatever you need to stop. then 3 of the Ghostrick Scare Trap card. And if you know anything about Ghostricks, you know that this is another really good trap card for the deck. Basically, it's just that if, while you have some Ghostrick monsters on the field, you can activate this to flip all of your opponent's monsters face down, and then that's going to result in you getting off all of your flip effects simultaneously. So if you have, if you have your skeleton face down, a Jiangshi, and then your Ghostrick doll, all 3 of those are going to go off at the same time. Then your opponent's monsters will get flipped face down. Skeleton is going to take off the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck. Jiangshi will add a level 3 or lower monster from your deck to your hand, and then doll is going to flip all of these guys back face down and special summon from the deck at the end of the turn. So just some really nice combos that can go off with Scare. Next, just 2 Dark Bribes just to stop cards like Twin Twisters from destroying our field spell. We really need to keep the field spell on the field in order to keep our cards protected. We want them to try to attack directly and just keep adding those cards to our hand. Next, 2 Quaking Mirror Force just to set our opponent's cards face down again. And 1 Metaverse. Now that Terraforming and Metaverse are limited, you really need to run 1 of each of them, so definitely keep 1 Metaverse in the deck just to keep seeing that field spell. Next, going on into the extra deck, I run 2 of the Ghostrick Angel of Mischief XZ monster. What she does, I guess I could have saved her for last, but so basically, if you have a Ghostrick XZ monster on the field, you can actually attach that card as material along with the materials that were already on it. And this is basically like Exodia, almost a win condition card. If you get up to 10 materials onto this card, you automatically win the duel, and you get materials onto it by discarding a Ghostrick card from your hand, or just by attaching a material of a Ghostrick from your hand, if that at all made sense. But its second effect, which is the one that we're usually going for, is that once per turn you can detach material to add a Ghostrick spell or trap card from your deck to your hand. And so what you want to do is you want to detach the materials just to add those Ghostrick Scares or your Ghostrick Vanish, just to keep those on your field and keep your cards protected. The way that you go into Angel of Mischief is usually I go with Alucard, or if you're getting a lot of your level 1s, but Alucard is your rank 3 monster, so if you start filling up your board with Jiangshis and mummies and skeletons, then you can get this guy out. His effect is that your opponent can't target other Ghostrick monsters or any other face-down defense monsters for attacks, but you really don't care about that effect at all, because we're really trying to just get him on the board and then put out our Angel of Mischief to keep searching. But he does have a really good effect that when he hits the graveyard, then you get to add a Ghostrick card from your graveyard and add it to your hand. So he's really good for recovering your skeleton if it's in your graveyard, or whatever other card that you need. So basically the method is you get out Alucard, and then you'll have your 2 materials. So say you got that there, get out your Angel of Mischief. Now that's on as material. You detach this from material to add a Ghostrick spell or trap card, and now your Ghostrick Alucard was sent to the graveyard, and now you get his effect off to add something from the graveyard to your hand. So just some really nice combos that you can go with that. And with Angel of Mischief, you can go in with I run 1 of the So Cute box, which is the rank 2. And then I also run 2 of the Dullahan. And Dullahan has a similar effect that when he's sent to the graveyard, you can get a Ghostrick from your graveyard and add it into your hand. So definitely running 2 of the Dullahan, 2 of the Alucard is a nice option. And then we don't really go into too many link plays, but the 2 link plays that I would highly recommend to keep in here are Nightmare Cerberus and Nightmare Phoenix, especially the Phoenix, just to pop off really hardcore spell and trap cards. Then 2 Link Karibo because we do run a lot of level 1s in the deck, and we want to stop battles as much as possible if we're losing our field spell. Next I run one Witch's Apprentice, because obviously it's a dark deck, one Decode Talker, and then just some extra XZ plays you could go with are number 49 Fortune Tune and Leviar the Sea Dragon. Those are also cards that can reoccur some of your level 3s back to your hand. But anyways, guys, that's sort of it for the deck profile. I hope you liked it. Let me know in the comments what you think. I know that this is kind of a sacky deck, but I really do like it. As far as like gimmick decks go, I think that this is one of the most entertaining, and I've always loved like the Halloween theme that goes along with this. So anyways, just let me know what you guys think. Please like and subscribe. I've been really struggling picking up subscribers, but if you guys would please hit that subscribe button, I would really appreciate it. Anyways, that's the Common Collector signing out. Thanks, dudes.